Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, here to meet your urgent and emergent medical needs, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Medical emergencies happen when you least expect them. Whether it's a stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury, San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com. Minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Wednesday morning, April 21st, 2021. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air here in San Juan County, New Mexico, 103.3 FM over the air in Durango, Colorado, and streaming everywhere on the planet from our website, ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are watching this visual radio program. We are streaming it live this morning to the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. So we're glad that you're with us, however you found your way to us this morning. Coming up in the next few moments, I am talking with representatives from Desert View Family Counseling about the month of April, which is Child Abuse Prevention Month. We'll learn more about the problem here in San Juan County and what is being done about it and raising awareness about it as well. That is coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then later on this hour, we will take our weekly trip to the Encouragement Lab. Communications professor Dr. Mike Hadaba is joining me this morning, and he'll be talking a little bit about headlines. So the media in the spotlight today, that is coming up at 8:50 a.m. right here on KSJE. So stay tuned for that. Next hour, Mick Hess is going to take us roving with the arts. It is our weekday classical music program, of course. Today, a special 90-minute version, and Mick is featuring music from the great Gustav Mahler on the program. You'll hear that coming up at 9:06, which will take us to 10:30, and right on Four Corners, our local and regional author program. Tracy Hales-Vass is speaking with author L. Annette Binder about her latest book, which is called The Vanishing Sky. You'll learn more about that coming up today at 10:30 on Right on Four Corners right here on KSJE. And of course, we invite you to connect with us on our social media accounts, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and don't forget about Instagram as well. Outside our studios right now, it is 44 degrees in Farmington this morning, and it is time to check in on the weather forecast. And for that, we go to KSJE's weather intern. Rolando Yazzie is joining me on the phone this morning. Rolando, good morning.
Good morning, Scott. And for today, we're looking at partly cloudy skies with windy conditions, high in 70. Tonight, windy with partly cloudy skies, low around 40. Thursday, breezy with mostly sunny skies in the morning. Then partly cloudy skies with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 62. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain showers, low 140. Friday, partly cloudy with some breeze, maybe a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 64. Friday night, mostly clear, low 34. Saturday, sunny skies, high near 73. And for Saturday night, clear skies, low 44. I'm Rolando Yazzie reporting your weather forecast on 90.9 KSJE.
Thank you very much, Rolando. Appreciate it very much. Those winds are going to be breezy again today and tonight, as you mentioned. So thank you very much. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. That is Rolando Yazzie, our weather intern here on KSJE. And let me turn to my guest who's here with me in the studio this morning. Amanda Lee is here from Desert View Family Counseling to talk about April and Child Abuse Prevention Month. Amanda, good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Scott.
Thank you for being here. And you were telling me that you've been at Desert View now for a little over a year, right?
Yes.
In your
Yes.
newish job.
Yes.
Right? And so talk a little bit about this, the problem of child abuse, right? It's still obviously a big problem, not just here, but all over the place. And we take the month of April to try to raise awareness about it and just let folks know kind of what's being done and what the problem is, right?
Yes. So in San Juan County, we do see the recurring issues of child abuse and, the neglect reports. And so, especially with the pandemic, it makes it kind of hard, makes it more difficult, actually, to go out and, work with our families face to face. And so trying to do it virtual, we're not, able to assess safety of the children. But now that our levels keep changing throughout, the COVID, the pandemic, we are doing our best, to reach out to our families, talk to children, just assuring that our children that are on our caseloads with our agency, that, the children are, their needs are being met.
Right. And that's so important. And you mentioned a lot of things that have happened over the last 12 plus months during the pandemic, right? That normal ways of maybe dealing with this problem have just not been able to happen because of people being at home and lockdowns and not in school and all those different things, where maybe a teacher might notice something a little out of the ordinary, or somebody else, and be able to raise awareness and get some intervention. And that's not being able to happen, I guess, as often as it did in the past. Is that accurate?
Yes. Yes.
And so what can we do as a society, as a community, to try to protect these kids who still may be in some of these really scary, unfortunate, dangerous situations?
So we partner up with CYFD. Most of our referrals come in from CYFD for our FSS, which is Family Support Services, or Intensive Family Support Services program. So we get CYFD referrals with that. And then we also have a reunification program, which is the time-limited reunification. So children who are in state custody, they CYFD sends a referral because, the kids are going to go back on child home visits. And then we also have the Family Reunification Services, which is children who are in state custody are being returned to foster relative placements, or, family members who are willing to take the children.
Right.
And then we also have a secondary prevention services program. We are able to serve families who have children from the ages 0 to 5. So with that, schools, doctors, daycares, they can make the referral if families do need, additional support. So that's what we try to give our word out, that we're here for support.
Right.
And they can be self-referred for the secondary prevention program.
Sure.
Yes.
And this is with Desert View, of course, but there's other counseling services in the area, and all provide some level of service, right?
Yes.
To these ends, right? But
yes.
But this is what Desert View does, which certainly is much appreciated in the community for sure. And during this month, not just this month, but 12 months out of the year, you're offering these things, right?
Oh, yes.
You're working
yes.
on these things.
Yes.
And so during April, though, what else are we hearing about, and what else can the community do?
So during April, we partnered up with the CYFD in San Juan County to do a little event in front of our parking lot at 3751 North Butler Avenue. Mm-hmm. And so our little event's going to be 2 to 4, and we're going to have some activities, some community booths, of course, social distancing. And it's just, we do want to hand out like treat bags for families and give them more information that we're here to serve them, we're here to help them, and especially with the pandemic and the crisis, that we're here to help.
Right. And that's happening when again?
On Friday.
This Friday?
Yes, this Friday,
Perfect.
April 23rd.
Okay. So folks can just kind of drive by during those times and see the activity and know that's what's going on.
Yes, and then we do have a law enforcement that will be there, just to show the patrol car to the kids that are going to be in the area. So.
Right.
Yes.
And so that's a great way to get the word out, certainly, and raise awareness, which is what we're talking about this morning, about the problem of child abuse in the communities. And I want to ask you, too, a little bit about that this problem really does affect all children, right? It really doesn't discriminate with just very young children or older kids. I mean, it could be any child, right? That's being in an abusive situation, correct?
Yes, any child. Yes, any child. Whether it be mental abuse, physical abuse, social abuse, emotional abuse. It's in all areas of abuse.
Right. And that's very important, I think, for folks to maybe understand. And so, as we mentioned, if kids aren't in school, if they're learning from home, maybe folks aren't able to notice some of the signs of an abusive situation, but maybe a neighbor does or a relative does.
Right.
Can you share some of the things that maybe folks could be looking for that could signal a possible abusive situation?
So, like an abusive relation or abusive situation, could be any areas. Depression, them feeling like they're lonely, isolation. We also have our other programs who we can refer out to as well. We have, the juvenile accountability court system, which are helping some of our families, like with their education needs, whether it be something minor like tutor, just to help with the kids, because a lot of kids, they're struggling learning virtually. And that's where, educational neglect comes in, because, like some parents, they're not educated to, teach their children, and therefore we're offering that additional support. And then we also have our wraparound services, who are there to help the teenagers, to be there as a support for them as well. So we have quite a bit of areas of services to help families. It's not just, our little family support services.
Right. And that's a great point, I think, that it's not necessarily the very most severe types of child abuse that we can think of, these horrible, horrible situations, but just maybe a student struggling at school with the virtual learning, because we've heard there are certainly a lot of students that maybe some do very, very well and some maybe not so much. And so they are struggling, and that can cause other problems, other issues, right? For that child and for that family then, I guess, by extension.
Yes. Yes.
And so you've got programs that can maybe help with that, right?
Yes,
and
yes,
refer a family then. And so if that's happening, folks can just call Desert View and reach out and see what might be available and get some kind of an assessment of what might be happening?
Yes, they can reach out to our main number, which is 505-326-7878. And they can also call our crisis line, which is 505-947-4471.
Okay. And that's available?
The crisis line is available 24/7.
Right.
And so, Rick is our CEO of the company, and so, he always tries to make himself available.
Sure, which is great. Good morning, Rick, by the way. Yeah, say good morning to him. And so that's important. And then the other thing that you mentioned, too, I think, was some of the other services that you provide, those wraparound services and some of those things that maybe families aren't aware of, maybe parents who are a little frazzled, may not be aware of where they could reach out for help.
Yes. So our wraparound services, once again, it's all in our scope of work with Desert View. So if they need more information, they're more than welcome to call 505-326-7878, and then our admin will direct your call. And so we have Cody, who is the supervisor of the wraparound, and we have Janice, who is the supervisor of the juvenile accountability court. So they're more than welcome to take their call if they have questions about the program.
Right. Very good. And you mentioned that maybe, some parents, certainly I couldn't teach a kid geometry or any math for that matter. But a lot of parents maybe struggle with having to help a student with homework or things along that line. And so that can be frustrating and cause some stress in a family, right? And I know there's tutoring things available. You guys don't do that. But certainly the schools, libraries, things like that offer some of those services too.
Yes. And we do try to reach out to the schools, and kind of help advocate for the children, talk about the concerns and, try to get support from the teachers. And, some teachers are offering after-school activities, after-school tutoring, and of course, with social distancing. So, yes.
But a lot of those professions, right? They do have an obligation to report a suspected case of abuse if they feel that something is happening.
Yes, and they would call SAFE or pound SAFE from their cell phone and I don't have the direct Sky number.
That's okay.
Okay.
But it's part of their job, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's explained to them, so they should know what they need to do if they
Yes.
deal with that. But teachers are one of those professions. Are there others that are kind of obligated, legally obligated to report?
So like teachers, principals, if they have, like one case we had, the teacher has some concerns, and therefore, they can voice the concerns to us. But if we were to make a report, that would be like a third party, report, and therefore we encourage the teacher to make the report just due to they're the ones who witnessing it
Firsthand.
firsthand.
Right.
And so, that report's more to go through than, our third party or third hand, the hearsay.
Right.
And so,
But I imagine, and it's always easy to sit in the radio studio and talk about these things, but each case is so different, and it's not always cut and dried, right? Not always black and white. This is definitely abuse. This is definitely not abuse. And if it's a gray area, I mean, can a teacher reach out to folks at Desert View, for example, and
Yes.
ask and say, what do you think? Do you think this warrants a report? Should I just keep observing, or what should I do as a teacher who feels obligated to report if there is a very serious thing going on?
right. And they, like I said, we do have referral forms. So if they do have concerns of family needing, additional help, like especially some families who are struggling with food, some families who are struggling financially due to COVID and, parents losing their jobs. And so we try to do what we can to help our families, and the teachers are more than welcome to reach out to our program if they feel like, they need the secondary prevention services program. And then they also can, call out to CYFD if they have some concerns. Of course, teachers are mandated reporters, as well as, any advocate or social workers. So,
Right. They have a legal obligation to
Yes.
to report these suspected cases, I guess, of abuse, right? And,
Yes.
and to start an investigation. I
Right.
guess would be how that would work.
right.
Very good. My guest this morning, Amanda Lee, is here from Desert View Family Counseling. We are talking about the month of April, which is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and of course the work that Desert View does, and a lot of the counseling services in the area does each and every day about child abuse and investigating some of these situations, right, and reporting them back to CYFD and other agencies,
Yes.
and working with these families, trying to work them through some of these things. And so I guess sometimes we hear about, children being taken out of the family, but there is counseling services that tries to reunify
Yes.
those family groups and try to get the parents to step up, or maybe, make some changes, and the child can then maybe come back into that home.
Yes, and that's the reunification services that we offer. We're preventative services, so we work with families to prevent, their case or their children being taken by CYFD. And so we're here to help families, support them, having them go, especially if they have a treatment plan with CYFD, just supporting them, whether they have substance abuse, mental abuse, counseling that they had to attend, making sure that the children have their medical, dental appointments all up to date, making sure that the kids are attending school. It just depends. There's specific goals, that we do help families with, whether it be getting a driver's license or, just trying to find housing or employment.
Right. And that's preventative, which I think is great. Are there other services that you do, though, if in fact the worst case scenario happens and the child is removed from the home?
So when the child is removed from the home, we let CYFD take over, and our case is closed until, that the family is being reunified with their kids. Then
Okay.
CYFD will send another referral, and we'll do the reunification services, whether it be the time-limited reunification program or the family reunification services program. Based on case by case, we do help with reunifications for a successful trial home.
Right. And I guess, and again, I'm not the expert, but you are, and that's why you're here. When a child is taken from the home, obviously the situation's serious enough that the child needs to be removed from the home, but it also kind of rips up the fabric of the family because of these serious problems. And so rebuilding that, reconnecting that has got to be a lot of hard work for parents if they really want to do it, and of course to bring the kid back into that situation, but it's got to really be disruptive for the child to be removed from his or her home.
Right. And
I understand the abuse too, and you want to get the child out of that situation.
right.
No question.
No, no. So I did have a case, like the family where the kids did get returned to state custody. And so they, from there, sorry.
Uh-oh.
From there,
Somebody wants to find you.
So from there, my case on my end had to close because the kids were returned back to state. But we do work with families, like I said, working with the family until reunification referral is sent back to us, and then we'll, work with the family again. So,
Gotcha.
right.
And how many chances, I guess, does a family get? I mean, is there a 3 strikes thing in your world, or do you keep offering them opportunities, or how do you, I guess, look into the future, try to see if mom and dad are going to really step it up and do what they need to do?
I would say in the time that I've been with Desert View, it's case by case. It's case by case, yes.
Gotcha. I know it's very hard to maybe generalize
Right.
everything. So
Yes.
each case is unique. Each case is different. Each family is different. I understand that. So
Right.
that makes sense. But there are, I guess, maybe some families get multiple opportunities to do the right thing.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
fair to say?
Yes. Yes, because, we don't want to, like if a family comes in and, they weren't successful the first time and, just giving them another chance to be successful, some families do come above and beyond. And so, we're a believer in chances. Well, I am.
Right.
So.
I think a lot of folks are. And again, I think, if as we look at this problem, if the parents are really wanting to make a change and make things better, it's certainly better for the child to be back with mom and dad than maybe in a foster home situation or a relative situation or whatever, if, and that's a big if, mom and dad are going to do the right thing and do the work they have to do to clean themselves up.
Right.
No matter what the problem is.
Right. And we do offer, like parent support, just asking them like, so is there any areas of parenting that you're struggling? Because a lot of parents, they struggle in parenting, and this can be just something as little as like communication or, the lack of not understanding how they have to communicate with their kids, because a lot has changed from the time that we grew up to I call it the millennial generation,
Right.
like on how to talk with kids and just covering all the bases. So just parenting is a big thing as part of our specific goals that we work with the parents.
Sure. Well, that's important too. And things have really changed since I was growing up, when you had to dodge dinosaurs when you were out in the playground. But that's a whole different story. But I hear what you're saying. But that's true. And for parents, kids aren't born with care labels like we see on clothes. And so for some parents, it's difficult if they don't maybe have mom or dad or relative to maybe ask some of these questions about just bringing up a kid, and it can be challenging.
Oh yes, it is.
Yeah, there you go. Spoken like someone who knows.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Well, tell me again about the event that you have coming up this week, right? It's on
Yes.
Friday?
On Friday, April 23rd from 2 to 4 in our parking lot area at 3751 Butler Avenue. We're going to have a little community booths. It's going to be child abuse awareness, and law enforcement will be there for kids to see the patrol car. And we'll have like little treats for the kids and anything, like we have more information.
Right.
For those who want to come by.
Sure. And you'll do it safely, so...
Yes, safely, social distancing, wearing your mask.
Right. All those things. So it
All
could be a
those things.
drive-through event. If depending on what color we are,
Yes.
by Friday, you will abide by whatever we need to be
Yes.
abiding by. So
Yes.
that's important. And again, for folks who are watching and would like more information about what you do at Desert View, I know we have a graphic here. The website, of course, mydesertview.com.
It's
Is that not right?
mydesertview.org, actually.
.org.
Yes,
Okay.
.org.
Gotcha. Alrighty.
Or they are welcome to call, our office at 505-326-7878.
Okay. There you go. Perfect. Well, Amanda, thank you for coming in this morning. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott. It was good to see you again.
You too. Thank you. And stay well.
You too.
Thank you very much. That's Amanda Lee from Desert View Family Counseling, my guest this morning right here on KSJE. The time right now, 8:35. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.